Good morning. Nothing like a good Saturday morning to enjoy a day. My name is Brian. I'm going to briefly tell you just why you should read a little bit more. Who here read books growing up? Okay, keeping your hands up. Who here still reads at least one book a month? It actually shows that by reading, you're keeping your mind active. So most of the researchers and the studies out there recommend that a book, maybe half a book a month. I mean, just to keep your mind reading. Just reading a little bit every single day. Keep your mind a little bit active. Dr. Seuss said that the more you know, the more you read, the more things you will know. And for me, just seeing what my brother personally has really started to pick up reading, and I've noticed through just the quotes that I've seen him on Facebook and the conversations I've had with him, I've noticed that he's retaining a lot more. According to the National Literacy Survey, the literacy rate of our society is a major concern, and it's been a major concern for a while now, and still things aren't changing. The average rate of our nation is actually 9th grade. That's what the average reading level of our society is. Unfortunately, most novels out there now are only at a 7th grade level. That's what novels are written at. Now when you switch over to a newspaper, for say the New York Times, that's an 11th grade reading level. So you see, you really have to really know how to read in order to enjoy certain journalistic writings. I don't know about you, but I think that this can be changed, and it can be changed one person at a time. And I believe that this needs to be changed by reading. If we pick up a book and we read not just a comic book or anything like that, but just a 300-page short novel will help us improve our literacy level. By reading more, it can also reduce your stress level. A well-written book can transport you to another realm, country, or anywhere else other than the present moment in time, letting your attention strain away and you begin to relax. For me personally, it doesn't matter how long my week was or how active I was during that week. As soon as I pick up a book, it takes me to another place, and I don't even think about where I'm at anymore. It's just relaxing. And I just think that, I think that everything we read fills your head with a little bit of knowledge. Basically, as we read more, we retain everything we read, whether it's useless facts that we're not going to retain, or we're not going to need, but we retain it anyway. Basically, how much a duck remembers. Like, who needs to know how much a duck remembers? But when you read it, it tends to stick, and sometimes you end up bringing up a conversation with someone. We need to remember that we may be able to lose everything, your job, your money, your house, everything, but the one thing no one can take away from you is your knowledge. And by increasing your knowledge, by reading is what we need to do. Our 36th president, Lyndon Baines Johnson, said, "A book is the most effective weapon against intolerance and ignorance." And I believe that because you can't have a conversation about something unless you know about it. If you don't know what's going on in the news, pick up the newspaper, read the news. I mean, everyone's on social media and the news, the TV, everything. Read the newspaper. That's what you're not going to see on mainstream media. We need to read the newspaper as well. Another reason to read, it helps you improve your memory. When you're reading a book, you have to remember the characters, you have to remember their backgrounds, you have to remember what their ambitions or their history in the book is. So you just really, every new memory forges new synapses and strengthens existing ones, which assists in your short-term memory. So you may not remember it, that book 10 years from now, but at the present time, it will improve your memory. The same goes for reading our Bibles, over and over. I mean, unless we're reading our Bibles, we're not going to memorize scriptures. As we memorize scriptures, we retain them. And then we have those, so we need to read. Finally, reading is fundamental. Basically, this one is more for our children. By reading out loud to our children, it stimulates their imagination and expands their understanding of the world. I think this one applies to reading our Bible with our children. If reading out loud helps them prepare to understand the written word, what better written word is there than the Bible? You know, it doesn't have to be the very specific story. I mean, as long as they know the story. As Pastor Rhea has told us before, it's a matter of getting them the gist of the story. You know, they don't need to know all the details yet, but as they get older, they can learn those details. Deuteronomy 6:6-7 says, "And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up." We need to read to our children. We need to, not only is it for them, but it's for us too. You know, because we're not only gaining our knowledge, we're increasing our children's knowledge. And I'll leave you with a quote from Margaret Fuller, a journalist from the 1800s. "Today a reader, tomorrow a leader." Thank you guys for your time.